Hello everyone, I'm Jenny and today I will be sharing some sample answers for the September to December 2019 Part 1 questions. The topics are forest, concentration, and tiredness. I've actually prepared 2 sample answers for each question so that you can choose which idea or answer you would like to have when you take the exam. So let us begin. For the first topic, forest, we've got 2 questions. When was the last time you went to a forest? Do you like to go to the forest if you're free? So as I've mentioned in my other videos, always paraphrase so that you can get a much higher score in vocabulary. Instead of repeating the word forest, try to change it into jungle, woods, woodland, or wild. Instead of saying free, you paraphrase it. You say have a free time, spare time, not doing anything, or available. So let's see the sample answer for the first question. Do you like to go to the forest if you're free? Yes, absolutely. If I have spare time, I enjoy going to the forest mainly because I'm a nature lover. Aside from that, it is helpful in relieving my stress and recharging my batteries. So in part 1, you need to give at least 2 to 3 sentences. Instead of just saying yes, which is quite simple, try to add an adverb. You can say absolutely or definitely or certainly. It makes your answers more powerful. Instead of repeating free, you can say if I have a spare time. Okay, paraphrase it. Now, if you want to add another information, usually we say and also. But instead of saying and or also, try to say aside from that. This is much longer and this is much better, okay? Now, you might ask me what does this phrase means, recharging my batteries. This is actually an idiomatic expression which means to feel better, recharge my batteries, okay? For example, Jenny, you look so tired. Let's go out tonight. Let's drink and I'm sure you will recharge your batteries. So it means I'm sure you'll feel better. Another sample answer. Traveling recharges my batteries. So it means traveling makes me feel better. Okay? So please use this idiom as idioms can increase your score from 7 to 9. Second sample answer. Well, as much as possible, I would like to go to the forest if I have free time. Unfortunately, the forest is extremely far from where I live. It'd take more than 7 hours of land travel, so it's really inconvenient. Okay, so you can use this kind of sample answer. If the forest is very far from you, then you can definitely use this one, right? So let us continue. When was the last time you went to a forest? Well, as far as I can remember, I went to the forest more than a year ago. My friends and I went mountain climbing last year, and before we reached the mountain, we went to the woods first. If you're talking about the past, try to use this kind of expression, as far as I can remember. You can also say, as far as I can recall, or if my memory serves me right. So questions about the past, or if you're going to talk about the past, add these expressions. After all, the IELTS examiner will not ask you if you really remember it or not, right? You just need to use this so that you can get a good score in vocabulary. Now, the second sample answer. Honestly speaking, I've never been to a forest before. I just went to some rivers, beaches, or mountains in my country. I wish I could have an opportunity to go to a forest someday. I'm sure it would be fun. So if you've never been to a forest yet, you can admit that it's easier to tell the truth, so you can use this kind of answer, all right? Let's move on. The topic for concentration, we've got 4 questions here. Let's see the sample answer for the first one. When do you need to be focused? Paraphrase it. When is asking you about the time, so you can say time, instance, event, or occasion. Instead of saying need, you paraphrase it. You say must, necessary, required, force, or oblige. Focus, you can use these expressions. So let's see the sample answer. When do you need to be focused? Well, most of the time, I tend to be more focused whenever I'm preparing for an exam. I always make it a point to give my full attention to my studies so that I can learn more efficiently and get higher marks. This sample answer is useful for students, right? So instead of saying I need to be focused, you can say I always make it a point to give my full attention. Make it a point, by the way, this is an expression which means make sure. Example, please make it a point to lock your room when you are sleeping. It means please make sure to lock your room. Okay? Second sample answer. Well, I guess that there are few instances that I really need to pay attention to something. But I think the most important one is when I'm driving, simply because my eyes should be on the road and I have to obey the traffic rules. So for drivers, for people who have cars, this can be a good answer too, right? Let's move on. What may distract you when you're trying to stay focused? Well, I'm usually distracted when I'm down in the dumps. Even if I want to be completely focused, but since I'm in a bad shape, I think it would be very difficult to concentrate. This sample answer contains two idiomatic expressions. The first one is when I'm down in the dumps. What does this idiom means? This idiomatic expression simply means sick or depressed. Depressed. Okay? When you're depressed, you are in a bad shape, right? When you're in a bad shape, you are sick, you're not in good condition. So try to use this one when you're talking about negative emotions. Now, the second sample answer, I think it would have to be the noise. Personally speaking, I lose my focus when there's noise in my surroundings, especially if it's an irritating one. As much as possible, I prefer to work in a quiet environment. So this is a very practical and realistic answer, right? You can use that one as well. The last question, what do you do to help you concentrate? Well, it actually depends on the situation. If I'm extremely sleepy and I'm having a hard time to focus, I would wash my face and have a drink of coffee. Those are the things that I do so that I can concentrate again. For the next answer, well, for me to be able to be focused, I usually stand and go outside to breathe some fresh air. When everything doesn't go my way and it's kind of tough to focus already, I just go out and find ways to unwind. To unwind, this is a verb which means to relax. Okay? Now for the next question, is it difficult for you to stay focused on something? Well, I guess I would have to say that concentrating for a long time is something that I'm good at. If I really need or want it, I really put my best foot forward so that I can stay focused. Instead of answering the question directly, you can also begin with this. I guess I would have to say that. This is helpful in making your sentence longer, right? Best foot forward. This is an idiomatic expression which just simply means give your best. Okay? So for example, today is my first day at work. I have to put my best foot forward. Okay? Second answer. Honestly speaking, I have a tendency to be anxious easily. As much as possible, I really want to keep my cool and be focused. But since there's a lot of things that distract me, it is really tough to concentrate. Keep my cool, it means, be calm. I really want to be calm. Okay? For the last topic, tiredness, we've got 4 questions as well. Instead of saying tired, paraphrase it. You say exhausted, burned out, drained, fatigued, worn out, overworked, debilitated, or enfeebled. Instead of saying strangers, don't repeat the words in the question. Paraphrase it into unknown person or unknown people, outsiders, unfamiliar people. Alright? Paraphrase. So the sample answer for the first question, what kind of things make you tired? Well, I guess it would have to be my work. Since I'm an engineer, my work is so taxing. I always have to work overtime, and I could say that it always wears me out. It wears me out, it means it makes me tired. Taxing, this is an adjective which means tiring. Emotionally and mentally tiring. Okay? Second sample answer. Actually, there are many things that make me exhausted, but my kids and housework just drains my energy the most. Aside from that, my job makes me tired too, since it is so physically demanding. Okay, this sample answer is applicable for working parents. What do you do when you feel tired? Well, I usually recharge my batteries by listening to music or resting at home. Sometimes I would hang out with my friends since they always make me laugh. I tend to forget my exhaustion when I'm with them. recharge my batteries. Just like what I've said earlier, it's an idiomatic expression which means to feel better. Okay? Second sample answer. Most of the time when I'm worn out, I just lie on my bed and sleep. After that, I'd feel energized and I'm back on my feet again. I think sleeping is the most effective way to regain my energy. I'm back on my feet again. This is an idiomatic expression which means I'm okay again. Alright? So, who do you usually talk to when you feel mentally tired? It actually depends on the situation and my mood. Most of the time, I talk to my mom since she understands me the most. However, there are instances that I would talk to my girlfriend too. Another one? Well, to tell you the truth, when I'm mentally exhausted, I just keep it to myself. I don't want to burden other people with my own struggles in life, so I just solve my problems on my own. So this sample answer can be helpful for people that, when they have problems, they just keep it to themselves. They don't tell other people. Okay, for the next question, do you like to talk to strangers when you feel mentally tired? Well, I'm not the kind of person who would talk to strangers when I have some problems. Instead of disclosing some personal information to unfamiliar people, I just talk to my girlfriend or my best friend. Well, I must admit that sometimes I talk to strangers every time I'm depressed. I usually do that online since I can hide my identity and I can talk to others without them knowing my true name. So 2 different kinds of answers, right? You'll just choose which one suits your personality. Okay, so always remember, paraphrase to get higher points in vocabulary. This is part 1, so avoid giving 1 sentence. It should be at least 2 to 3 sentences. Last but not least, be confident and comfortable while speaking. Thank you so much for watching my video. Bye. Again, this is Jenny.